Okay, so I got to ask you about the humans. We talked about what's it like to create the scenes, but creating realistic humans is really tough. Can you speak to that? How to create ultra realistic humans? So you have an actor behind this to convey emotion, show the nuances and the details of the faces. And maybe this is a good opportunity to also mention MetaHuman Creator that's part of Unreal Engine.
Yeah, that's right. Humans are by far the hardest part of computer graphics because millions of years of evolution have given us dedicated brain systems to detect patterns in faces and infer emotions and intent. Because cavemen had to, when they see a stranger, determine whether they were likely friendly or might be trying to kill them. And so humans we people in the world have extraordinarily detailed expectations of a face, and we can notice imperfections, especially perfections arising from computer graphics limitations. But it becomes by far the hardest problem. So the MetaHumans effort is part of a decades-long initiative that Vlad Mostilovich, the most talented digital humans visionary in the world, has been working on for generations and generations of games. Serving individual clients around the game industry for a while and then joining Epic as part of the Three Lateral team and leading now a worldwide effort to build all of the technologies required to make digital humans realistic. Okay, one part is capturing humans. And so they built really advanced dedicated hardware that puts a human in a capture sphere with dozens of cameras in them taking high resolution, high frame rate video of them as they go through a range of motions. And then capturing the human face is complicated because the nuanced detail of our faces and how all of the muscles and sinews and fat work together to give us different expressions. So it's not only about the shape of a person's face, but it's also about the entire range of motion that they might go through. Capturing one human requires, a few hours of capture work in a dedicated environment like that, then thousands of hours of processing work to capture a precise and real-time replicatable version of that human in the environment. And so one of the things that's done is just capturing an actor or actress in the real world and then using them in a video game. But the much more interesting thing going on is capturing thousands of humans to form a data set whose goal is to encompass the entire range of faces in all of humanity. So, going around every culture, every continent, every age, and every face variety, and capturing representative people. So the entire range of faces is represented. Um, and then being able to combine and merge those together to enable recreating an arbitrary face that the system's never seen before.
Hmm.
So, one of the ideas is capture giant amounts of this high precision data, and then you use it to reconstruct a face at a consumer level. Like maybe, you know, take an iPhone photo of somebody's face and then capture a very accurate depiction of that, not by synthesizing it then and there on that device, but by combining all of the known details of human faces to accurately capture the most accurate representation of that. So that's the data problem. There's a lot of other problems of computer graphics. There's technology for rendering hair, which is really hard because you can't render again, we know the laws of physics. It would be easy to just render every hair. It would just be a billion times too slow. So you need approximations that capture the net effect of hair on rendering and on pixels without calculating every single interaction of every light with every strand of hair. That's one part of it. There's detailed features for different parts of faces. There's subsurface scattering because we think of humans as opaque, but really our skin is light travels through it. It's not completely opaque, and the way in which light travels through skin has a huge impact on our appearance. This is why there's no way you can paint a mannequin to look realistic for a human.
Hmm.
It's just a solid surface, and we'll never have the sort of detail you see.
We should actually just linger on that. That kind of blew my mind, like thinking through that. I think I heard that sort of the oiliness of the skin creates very specific, nuanced, complex reflections. And then some light is absorbed and travels through the skin. And that creates, would it be fair to say, like micro shadows or something? It creates like textures that are human eyes able to perceive. And it creates the thing that we consider human, whatever that is. And so like you have to compute both that, the reflection, how light interacts with the oiliness of the skin, and how it is also absorbed in, and all of that while considering all the muscles involved in making the nuanced expression, just the subtle squinting of the eyes or the subtle formation of a smile. It's a stupid, annoying subtlety of human faces that you have to capture. Like the difference between a real smile and a fake smile. Man, I love human faces. I love humans in general. But the way to show like beginning of a formation of a smile that actually reveals a deep sadness. All of that. Like when I watch a human face, I can like read that. I could see that. Again, this is the engineering and the artist. You have to have the tools that in real time can render something like that. And that's incredibly difficult. But anyway, sorry. So yeah, so there's a lot of this kind of complexity in even just the lighting of a face.
That's right. Getting faces right requires the interplay of literally dozens of different systems and aspects of computer graphics, and if any one of them is wrong, your eye is completely drawn to that, and you find it on the wrong side of uncanny valley. So the level of perfection needed in this area is vastly, vastly higher than world rendering or grass or any of these other things. If the shadows on a work of architecture are slightly wrong, you're pretty forgiving of it, actually. Your brain doesn't really care that much, but if anything wrong with the human, and it's totally jarring.
Can you speak more to the creation of digital humans with MetaHuman, both on the editor side and sort of bringing it to life side? It seems like because I've watched a bunch of videos, a bunch of individual developers doing it, it's not too difficult to bring a human to life using the tooling that Unreal Engine editor provides.
There are two main tools. You know, compared to the old days where every face was created by hand by an artist from scratch. One is the MetaHuman Creator tool for creating faces, where you have a huge number of parameters you can adjust to create a unique human by adjusting all the different capabilities of them. You can then get that out of MetaHuman Creator into Unreal Engine, and then you can add all kinds of computer graphics features uh, there in the engine. You could add clothing using the cloth simulation system, and you can adjust the hair and all these other parameters on the thing. And then there's MetaHuman Animator, a tool for animating a human based on a facial capture, which can be done on a device as simple as like an iPhone, and transfers the captured animation to the human you want, which is not straightforward. If the actor has one face shape and the character on screen has another face shape, the translation that needs to be done from the actor to the face is actually really sophisticated and non-obvious. And if you just applied it literally, then it would be completely wrong from your point of view. So those are the main tools that people are using now. And then within the Unreal Engine, then you have a face and you can do absolutely anything you want to it. And you could also, if you decide to go outside of the MetaHuman geometry pipeline, you could build your own face, like any creature of any sort, and then use the animation tools to animate it. But this is 30 years into a project that's probably like 50 years in total to get to absolute photorealism and controllability for absolutely everything. So there's vast amounts of work still to do, and we don't feel like we've solved the problem at all. We've just given artists a big productivity multiplier and a quality multiplier, but this is not in a state that we would say is done.
But nevertheless, I've seen people use it really effectively. I saw almost like plugins, maybe external services where you can get the faces to approximate the mouth movements required to speak a thing. So like that's a really useful feature.
Yeah, that's right. When you have an artist or actor in your studio and you're recording a specific performance, you can just capture their facial motion and apply it. But if all you have is a voice recording, or you're generating a voice recording, or it's parametric or procedural or AI generated, yeah, then you need the system to translate that speech not only to movement of the mouth and lips, but also to facial expressions and the whole intent. When we're speaking, it's our whole face that's active and emoting in different ways, and not just it's not just a mechanical motion of the pieces.